Hi everyone, I'm Reverend Stephanie Butler Adams, and this is Sistahs on Sacred Grounds, where we use affirmations, music, and coffee to create a dialogue which addresses an array of real-life issues, emotions, expressions, and experiences that only our music and its lyrics bring about, specifically in women, relationally, culturally, and spiritually, across both sacred and secular genres. Sistahs on Sacred Grounds. Insecure. Body image, age, weight, career, relationship status, desirability, physical intimacy, sexuality, intellectual ability. The list goes on in the hearts and minds of women being honest about their many insecurities. The struggle is real to overcome them, and today we'll deal with them, how we can be empowered in spite of them. Let's talk about it right here on Sistahs on Sacred Grounds. Hi, and welcome again to Sistahs on Sacred Grounds. I'm Reverend Stephanie Butler Adams, and today we are going to be dealing with a very, very important topic, especially for women. Insecurities. Insecurities. We're going to talk about insecurities, and I like to call this Sistahs on Sacred Grounds, the Millennial Edition, right? I've got some powerful, contemporary Black millennial women here with me today, and I can't wait for you to meet them, so let's dive right in. Renee Cannon was born and raised in Sacramento, California. After graduating with a master's in elementary education, Renee moved to LA to explore a career at the happiest place on earth, Disneyland, where she works as a guest talent coordinator, stage manager, and youth education series facilitator. She recently launched her own virtual performing arts studio entitled Creativity Works. Born in Kingston, Jamaica, Jamielle Rankine-Kirlew is the creative director and owner of the clothing brand Muma. Muma, which is Jamaican patois for mother, is a culturally inspired collection of contemporary handmade designs for women. Jamielle earned her degree in fashion design from the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in Los Angeles. She is an up-and-coming designer, a woman of God, wife to her husband David, and mother to two boys, Czar and Noble. Joie Harvey describes herself as a product of a powerhouse mom who created a well-balanced learning environment saturated with books, music, dance, and activism. She is the assistant choreographer for Word Became Dance. And Joie is a cardiovascular registered nurse and community health educator in Southern California, dedicated to improving the lives of women with care, honor, and integrity. Joie promotes physical, mental, and spiritual wellness so that people can live well, think well, and be well. Talking about insecurities, I want you, by show of hands, I'm going to just say a few things. Raise your hands if you have ever heard this. You're pretty for a Black girl. What's up with your hair? Why do you talk like a white girl? Uh-huh. And why aren't you married yet?
Oh.
When are you gonna get married? Mm-hmm. Are you seeing anybody? Okay, great. So these are questions that all of us, it really doesn't matter what age we are, right? All of us have dealt with at some point, but particularly, I want to say Black women again. And for you all as millennials, it's a whole different game right now, okay? Yes. Especially when we talk about in the workplace, in college, when we went to college, in our professional institutions, in settings, we, Black women, are often found as being the only or the first. Mm-hmm. Can you relate to that?
Definitely.
Can you relate, right? You know, how many of you have been like The only.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
And always the first Black woman in the such and such, right? Right?
Oh, yes.
Right? Okay. Do you think that this feeds into our insecurities? Do you think that it feeds into, and if so, how so? So I'm going to start off with Renee. Okay, Renee, do you think that feeds into your insecurities?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because when you are the only,
Mm-hmm.
or when you're the first among a group of, other people,
Mm-hmm.
they expect something different from you. They expect you to either act better or a certain way.
Wow.
Like, there's this really high expectation when you're the only Black girl on a team or in an office.
Mm-hmm.
That really feeds into that, well, I gotta do this, I gotta be a certain way, I gotta meet that expectation that is set for me.
Mm-hmm. That's good. How about you, Joey? Same question.
Does it feed into my insecurities? Absolutely. Yes. In terms of, am I doing my job to the comparison, rather, right? Comparing myself to my counterparts and understanding and making sure that I measure up, that showing up every day and making sure that I measure up, and me being completely different. I do my job differently. I show up differently. And is there like a disadvantage in my difference, and owning my difference instead, and saying, hey, these things make me better, they make me stronger in my job, instead of, oh, my difference, it may be viewed negatively, they may think I'm incompetent, they may deem this as something negative when it's time for evaluation. So absolutely, I definitely agree that it does feed into my insecurities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How about you, Jamielle? Does it feed into your insecurities?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. One of the major reasons is because being the only Black person in a certain space, it's like everyone looks to you as what all Black people are. Mm-hmm. And so when you enter that space, you feel like you're representing, you're carrying all Black people. And so
my God,
you want to be... You kind of mold yourself to fit into that space sometimes. And then when you're molding yourself to be something you're not, it makes you really insecure because you're holding back a lot. You're wondering if you're doing something right. Am I being coming through as who I want to be? And am I failing my Black counterparts? Am I representing well? And so all that goes through your head sometimes.
Wow. And by show of hands, if I had 3 hands, I'd put them all up. How many of us have been the spokesperson for all?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Especially recently.
Tell us about recently. What is going on?
I know, like, after George Floyd and everything, when people were just screaming out to, like, be heard or to be understood, a lot of my white friends or non-Black friends message me like, what can I do? What do they want us to do? Or what do you all want us to do? Like, how can I help? And it's like, like, it's not the same answer for every Black person. So it was kind of this weird spotlight that was suddenly shown on, I think, almost all of us, where it was like, I don't know what you want me to tell you to do.
Right. Well, and sometimes there is no answer.
Right, exactly.
And we all have to be okay with there is no answer. Just be who you are, and let's continue to be, you know? For you all as millennials, I keep saying this, and you tell me, is being a millennial like overrated? Joey, is it overrated?
No, it's fantastic. We're the smartest, the sharpest, the coolest, the cleanest. We set the trend for the fashion. We try to set the trend for the music. Right? No, absolutely not.
You don't sound like you have any insecurity problems. So here's my question then. What's the biggest myth?
The one that I hear most often is that we're lazy, or that we expect things right away, which I guess is a little bit because this is a microwave generation. Things do usually happen fast, but I think a lot of people in the generation below us think that we're lazy, that we don't want to reach for anything. We don't have any ambition. We just want what we get right away.
So is there any truth to it? Is there any, come on, is there any, Joey, is there any truth to that?
Let me just say that I think folks misinterpret our desire to want something different, because we don't want to do it the way that it's previously been done. We want to do something different. They say, they interpret that as, oh, you just don't want to work hard. You got to pay your dues. And I hear that all the time from certain generations who shall not be named, who misinterpret our desire to do other things, right? And blaze our own trail.
So you think that we got y'all all wrong. We got it twisted. It's just not. I mean, I am not a millennial. I am a Generation Xer, right? But I mean, I can totally relate to what I hear you guys go through, you know. And I just think it's kind of funny because we've been there, done that, you know. Yeah. But like I said, it's a whole new game right now. It's like a whole new game, and I think that there might be a smidgen of truth to a little bit of the, you know, little bit, but I like hearing you say, you know, it's not that I'm strong and I don't need help, right? Do you think that some of us have dropped the ball in passing the baton to you all as millennials? Joey, have we dropped the ball? Is that part of the issue?
Yes, I believe, and they misunderstand us and then wash their hands and say, you know what? I tried to help. I tried to give them the path based on how I did it. You didn't do it the way I did it. So bye, I'm done. And so they take their hands off too quickly without trying to be creative with, okay, you don't like it this way. Let me try and understand some of the style that you're interested in, how you want to develop your business, and let me pour into, give you pieces of what I've done to try and contribute, as opposed to trying to give you the whole template. We want to create our own template.
I think that there's a little bit of truth to those myths, you know, just personally, right? And I think that for those of us that are in relationship with millennials, one of the things that I'm conscious about doing is, you know, you say reaching back, but not just reaching back, but pushing up, you know? And I think that really not just helps with insecurities, but as we're not in your generation, we have to tell you the stuff that makes us insecure too, and how did we get over it, you know? So how you guys, let's see, I have one married woman, right? Jamielle's married, Joey's single, Renee's single, I'm married. But how has this whole COVID experience affected your spirituality? How has it affected your spirituality? That's for all of you. Jamielle, how has it affected you spiritually?
It made it stronger because I had nothing else to lean on. It made it stronger because I felt like it was all a test. It felt almost like, oh my gosh, God is coming, so I need to get it together.
All right.
One. And then two, when you have nothing else to lean on, as I stated, it's like you have to lean on God more. You know, well, for me, that's what gets me through. So it made me want to read more. It makes me want to know more. It makes me want to be in a position where if my children come to me, I can be equipped with knowledge to help them in this time, because they're going through things as well, you know, with all that's happening. So just made it definitely a lot stronger.
Stronger? Yeah. Anybody else stronger? Did it make you stronger?
Yeah,
Renee?
I think so. Yeah, because definitely made me trust God more, especially being furloughed and not knowing what each month was going to look like. But since I've been furloughed since March, and he's definitely taken care of everything. So even as we come to these next couple of months where I don't know what work's going to look like, I don't feel as much fear as I think I would have felt before.
That's good. Joey, how has this whole situation affected your spirituality?
Prayer. It's strengthened my prayer life, right? I agree with Renee in that it's made me trust God, but now we talk all the time. I'm in prayer about all things, and I can just make my petitions known to God, knowing that he's listening and just trusting that, hey, you're going to take care of it, especially because I work directly with COVID patients. praying for those people and saying, God, you're going to do whatever you're going to do here. You are the ultimate physician, handle it. And just, taking the load off of me. So my prayer life has been so much stronger in this season.
And can I say something? Because a lot of the times we're told to intercede on others' behalf, and a lot of the times we don't, there's so much going on in the world, right? But with COVID, you have to pray for someone. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Right? You can't think, who can I pray for? Everyone needs prayer now. Right. So I agree with Joie and Renee.
So it's made you all stronger with your relationship with God, pretty much. It makes you feel stronger. That's powerful. Did you have any moments that you felt like, I don't have to go to church. I just kick back. I'm just, I'm good. Any of that?
Not really.
No?
Honestly, when we got furloughed, they had said, we're going to come back in April. And so I was like, for 2 weeks, maybe, I was like, this is nice. I'm getting a break. I'm just going to relax. And then when we didn't go back, I'm like, well, now I need to actually be doing something. I need to be productive. I have to move. I have to be active. And so I feel like I've been more productive than ever being during this season. I feel like I've gotten a lot done and feel very accomplished.
That's awesome. And I know, Renee has started her own business during COVID. She's starting a creative and performing arts studio, and Joie is out there, has gotten her nursing degree, and she's working with COVID patients daily. And I mean, designer extraordinaire, Jamielle Rankine-Kirlew of Muma Fashions, right? Muma.
Yes.
She not only used her gift when you say, you got busy, you got creative during COVID. She made masks, and sold them to people all over the nation,
and
donated and sold. And I mean, there's nothing, listen, let me, my little sister, there's nothing wrong with selling, okay? Because this is your livelihood.
Yes.
And I want you have to always go back and think, what do I wish somebody would have told me when I was your age, because you're giving away all your gifts for free. You just give it away, y'all. That leads to some insecurities too, by the way. That's another conversation, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay because your gift makes room for you and you're worth it, right? So go and sell those masks. Okay, let's talk about sex.
Where shall we start?
Just ease into that. Okay, so I read this article in Atlantic magazine, and it was called "The Sex Recession." In this article, it stated that young adults and millennials are launching their sex lives later, and they are having less sex less frequently than previous generations. Do you agree or disagree?
It's true. It is very true.
Without disclosing a whole lot, agree or disagree? And why? Joie?
I think people may be getting married later and choosing to have children later and building family later, but I don't know that I would agree that they're abstaining. I read a lot of literature and I watch a lot of content about sexual liberation, right? These even Christian folks who want to diversify the conversation about sex. And it's very clear that people are still having sex and really trying to understand how to make sex more enjoyable and how to learn your body so that when you enter the sacred space, you can have pleasurable sex. So nothing that I'm reading leads me to believe that people are necessarily having less sex, but trying to have more meaningful and pleasurable sex.
So your friends say there's no recession. There's no recession going on. There's no recession. No? Renee?
Not that I know of. The people around me that I know are still having sex. I think I agree with Joie. I think people are looking for more meaningful relationships. And so that could be what it is.
Well, I thought it was interesting in the article. They said that there were all these different reasons, rationales, and one of them had to do with, of course, social media, because you have other things to occupy your time, and you are so inundated with, you can do your own thing on social media. Not that you're, doing anything untoward on social media, but you're just occupied. And then another thing, and I thought about you ladies that work so hard, they said that millennials are working hard and they're tired. They come home and they are actually tired. And so that was a thing. So I just wondered, if there was a recession. So, yes,
from
Jamielle.
my experience with the friends that I speak to,
that
tired. It's definitely important, and I believe it should be done often. But from the people I'm speaking with, like a lot of millennials, like they're so focused on their careers, they're so focused on building content that, but at the end of the day, they're just like, I can do it myself. I don't need to. I don't need a partner. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm hearing. They are searching for more meaningful sexual partners, but in that search, they're not doing much from what I'm hearing.
It's time for the tea about coffee. While the name might be Italian in origin, the latte is without a doubt one of the preferred ways to enjoy coffee all around the world. Few single beverages can wake you up, warm you up, and satisfy your sweet tooth all in one sip. My latte drinkers have their coffee in one hand and their confidence in another. So let's talk about this. Somebody said, I forget which one of you said something about you. Oh, Joey, it was you, about your body and let's talk about body image, okay, and self-consciousness and all of that, because as women, that's something that we deal with on a regular basis, and whether we admit it or not, we do have a bit of insecurity surrounding, our body consciousness and our body image and all of that. And sometimes, I was thinking, back in the olden days, you may have been so conscious about how you look that you didn't really want to reveal yourself to somebody, because you're like, oh my God, I got to wait till I get this part together and that part together and that part together, and then I'll be ready. Is that a thing?
Now they just go to the doctor and get surgery.
Yes, I would definitely agree.
Is it a thing? Yes or no? Who says yes? Is it a thing, Joey?
I would agree. Yes. You want to be the whole package. You want to be complete in many ways.
In your perception. In your perception, because they might not even care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Correct. That's very true. And oftentimes the things that we obsess over, they don't care about, right? Oh, my toes are the color. It's not the best color. Like, who cares? They're clean and they're cute. That's enough, right?
Right. There's 10 of them. You don't have 15, because then we'd have issues. Okay. Talking about, but back to the whole area of insecurity, because insecurity by definition is a little bit of it is a lack of self-confidence, right? And it's that fear of putting oneself out there, of whatever. What would each of you say are your biggest insecurities? If you were really going to be honest with yourself, what is your biggest one? Let's start with Jamielle.
My weight. After having my second child, I have gained a lot of weight. So for me, it's my weight. It's just always finding a problem with, this angle's not right, this isn't good, this and that. And then it's, no matter what anyone says, it's just like, yeah, whatever. I don't really care what you're saying. I think, so my weight is my biggest insecurity at this moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Joey?
I think my biggest insecurity or my concern are my ideas and are my thoughts and contributions significant enough? Am I just another young lady out here trying to, just a splash in the pool of ideas, or am I doing something that's actually going to change the world and be creative and cool and impactful? So am I smart enough? Am I interesting enough? Right? Is the biggest thing. So.
Wow. How about you?
Weight, definitely. I've struggled with my weight since I was really young. So it's been something that I've on and off been man, if I could just lose that 10 pounds or however much. But I think my biggest one would be just a fear of not being accepted. Am I too weird? Am I too shy? Am I too am I not like what you would like?
Mm-hmm. I think that when we're dealing with the insecurities that we say, whether it's our weight, whether it's how we look, whether it's do we show up and do we think that we're I don't want to say smart enough, or do we deserve to be in the room? Do we have whatever to contribute to the conversation? I think that the way that we get over them is that we just keep doing it. You just have to keep doing it. Whatever it is, you have to keep doing it. If it is that you're dealing with weight issues, you have to just keep dealing with it and keep at it and keep at it until it becomes a lifestyle. Yeah. If it's that you are dealing with your, how you show up in a room, what's the conversation? Are you just keep doing it? Because then it becomes like second nature, and you're just like, of course I belong here. Yeah. I belong here. Of course I belong here. So legacy. I want to talk to you millennials about your legacy. Mm-hmm. What kind of legacy are you building right now? My question to you is, what impact do you want to make in this world with people dying every day? I mean, thousands of people just dying, every day. You never know when your next day is gonna be, when we're gonna be gone. And it had me thinking a lot about, what am I leaving behind? And you all have an opportunity to really start early. Mm-hmm. What impact do you want to make in this world? And what one step are you taking towards it? Okay. Joey.
Two things. One, my name is Joey, but it's a French word and it actually means joy. So since I was a very small person, but bouncing around, dancing around, I have worked to be a beam of light, a source of joy for other people. And that is really, truly what I try to do, to bring happiness and joy to people who may not have access to that. And even if you do, to give you some more, because I think that everybody deserves that. And the second bit is to help people to better understand their bodies, to help women better understand their bodies, and to understand the things that they can do to strengthen their bodies. And that's my professional career in itself, is helping you to understand and how to be healthier and live a healthier, full life.
Fantastic. All right, Renee, what impact do you want to make here? What do you want to leave?
For me, I think it's finding the little me's, the little Renees who feel like they're not good enough, who feel like they're too weird, or, just not like they don't fit in the room, and just letting them know that they do, and that it's okay to be who you are. Because I didn't learn that lesson until I got to college, and I think it's important that they know that as early as possible. And I think one step I'm taking towards doing that is being more forgiving towards myself.
Wow.
Because once I do that, then it's easy to be, unequivocally me, and just be bold in who I am.
Wow. So we're going to find the little me's. We're going to find oh my God. What a joyful world. Yeah. So many little Renees running around. Holy cow. That's going to be amazing. I love it. All right, Jamielle, what legacy are you leaving? What take impact?
The direction that Joey started with what her name means. My name, Jamielle, means beautiful. And I want to make life beautiful.
Nice. Yes.
I want to change the perception of what people think beauty is. And I have a passion for youth, especially underprivileged youth. And I want to I'm an artist. I want to be able to create a space where youth or kids can just make art and make things beautiful and transform and become who they were meant to be. That's the space I want to create. And the steps I'm taking to go into that direction is just walking in my purpose, you know, and realizing that I am deserving of being in the room, even when I don't feel like it all the time. And just letting God lead me, because He's been doing it so far and placing me where I need to be. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you heard sticks and stones may break my bones, but names can never hurt me. Does anybody really believe that?
No.
Right. Right. I don't believe it either. I think it was a nice rhyme that we learned. But so my question as we start to wrap, here at Sistahs on Sacred Grounds, we like to use affirmations, right? And affirmations can be very healing. They can be very comforting. They can be very what they're called to be, affirming, right? But I want you to think back to what was the meanest thing that anyone has ever said or done to you that has rooted you in this insecurity. Just take a moment and think about that. And whoever wants to share first can share. What's the meanest thing? If you're okay sharing it.
I remember 8th grade being the worst year of my life. There was a moment where these girls I thought were my friends, like, it switched halfway through the year for some reason. Like, they were my friends at the beginning, and then the next semester they just didn't want anything to do with me. And I remember they wrote some really mean letters to another girl, but signed my name. And I ended up in the principal's office, and they did not want to believe that I did not write those letters. And I think that really, like, hurt me trust-wise. It can be hard for me to, like, open myself up and get close to people because I'm like, well, that's not really my friend, or they want something, you know? And so I think that was one of the biggest things for me that made me, I guess, who I am, and something I'm still, like, trying to work over.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Ooh, kids can be ruthless.
So ruthless.
Okay. All right. Jamielle, how about you?
So I'm going to get deep. I feel like, and I've healed from this experience, but my mother and I's relationship definitely is what I believe contributes to a lot of my insecurities. She had me at a very young age, and so she didn't know how to be a mother. And because of that, she was just, we just didn't have a very good relationship. It was very tumultuous. It was very negative a lot of the time. It was very physical a lot of the times. And I was always trying to prove myself to her. And I feel like it's poured out over into my life even today, where I'm always trying to prove myself and having to then check myself, like, it's okay, you got it, you're worthy, you're enough. And as I stated, my mother and I are fabulous now. We have a great relationship. But sometimes thinking back through the things that she's called me or what I've been through with her, I don't want to cry.
It's okay.
It's very, that's, your mother should be a place where you're safe. And I wasn't safe.
Right.
And so that, I think, contributed a lot to my insecurities, and that is one of the hardest things I've dealt with. Yeah.
Good. That's good. Joey?
Probably the meanest thing that I internalized was in elementary school being called ugly and saying, she was like, you look like a dolphin. And as an adult, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But as a kid, being told you're ugly, and I already had a lot of body issues, it really, like, imprinted on how I saw myself and how I then interacted socially. I'm like, okay, well, if I'm not pretty, I need to be funny. Oh, if I'm not pretty, I need to be the smartest person in the room. I have to do all these other things to compensate for that. And even with my friends, like all of my friends are like, fine. I'm like, well, how do my friends with these girls? Am I fine too? Right? So just consistently hearing that I'm ugly. And it really impacted me for many, many years.
If life knocks you down, just roll over and look at the stars. Remember who you are and whose you are. There are endless possibilities hidden in plain sight. And that's today's coffee break. So, one of the things we do on the program is we take secular lyrics and we try to pull out little pieces that we can hear God in those lyrics. And the song that I chose for this episode is one by Jess, Glynne, and it's called Insecurities. Mm-hmm. And the one part that she says, every freckle on my skin has a reason. Every scar that I have was worth bleeding. Every curl on my head is a treasure. And so for all those things that were said to us and done to us, you know, the beautiful thing is, the good news is, it's in the past. Yeah. Right? And we don't have to hold on to that anymore. Knowing where the root came from and where the root is, but then knowing that what God had a plan for all of it. God had a plan for you dealing with your little mean 8th graders, right? Because now you want to create a world of little Renees, right? That bring joy to the world. You know, God had a plan for you, Joey. Now you want to make sure that everybody feels beautiful on the inside and out, right? Yeah. You know, and God had a plan for you, Jamielle, because you are a phenomenal mother. Mm-hmm. You know what you went through, and now you're not going to repeat that. So I want us in our closing moments to just affirm one another. Can we just affirm one another, right? Can we just speak some words of affirmation in this little sacred circle, right? Yes. We're just going to speak some words of affirmation to each other. So, Renee, speak to Joey, and Joey, speak to Jamielle, and Jamielle, you speak to me, and I will speak to you. Okay. All right? Are you ready?
Yes. Me first?
You first.
Joey, I think you are one of the most beautiful girls I have ever met. Not only are you beautiful outside, you're beautiful inside. I remember coming to the church and you being among the first people I met. And you were just so kind and so accepting. And I know we geek out about Harry Potter sometimes and we can have fun together. And so I just am really grateful that God put you in my life, you beautiful girl, you. And yes. That you are who you are. Because I think I saw, especially dealing with a lot of my insecurities, meeting you and getting to see the type of person, I'm going to cry, oh my gosh, getting to see the type of person you were, I think helped me a lot be bolder in who I was. So I just appreciate you a lot.
Beautiful.
Yes. Okay, good. Yes. Joey.
Thank you, Fred. You're welcome.
Friend, you are literally one of the wisest women that I know. One of the strongest women that I know. But interestingly, also sometimes misunderstood. But I think that you navigate that space with such grace and such elegance, and you're so rooted in your uniqueness and your authenticity, right? And it's very clear that you listen and hear from God and move in in obedience to what he has for you to do, right? With such power and such strength and such grace, even when that's difficult to beat to your own drum. And that is something that I admire and continuously watch, and I'm in awe because, like I said, that can be tough to do. So I'm so grateful to have relationship with you. I'm so grateful to be in community to experience your wisdom, right? We get on those calls and I listen to you speak God's word so powerfully, so clearly. It's just astounding sometimes. I'm like, man, this woman of God is fierce. So I thank you for being a beacon of strength.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you. Reverend Stephanie Butler Adams. Wow, where do I start? This is a tough one because that song that says she's a brick house. Yes. You are every woman. You have so much strength and grace and poise and intelligence and discernment. You're admirable. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
You're kind. You're so talented. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. You are a perfect example of what any little girl would want to grow up to be. The love that you share for your husband is so admirable.
Thank you.
There's so much passion when you speak. God is shining a light on you from every angle. Mm-hmm. There are no shadows. It's just all light. You illuminate with God's grace, and your love for children and how you pour into the Sky Kids and just everything else that you do is just clear that God has purpose and plan for you and that you are walking in your defined purpose. I admire you so much. I've come across many believers, and a lot of people talk the talk, but you walk the walk.
Amen.
And I just love you. Oh, I just love you, and I want everything good for you. And you know, so yeah.
Thank you. Wow, this is affirmation time. All right. So Renee, you, my dear, have a supernatural bright future ahead of you. Supernatural, right? And now knowing what I know, you are going to reproduce after your own kind. Mm. Not only naturally, but you're going to reproduce little Renees, as you say, boys and girls, all around the world. Disney will have nothing on what you're going to reproduce. Disney will have nothing on what you're going to create. And you just keep shining. You really have a special knack with children. I mean, it's uncanny, right? It is magical. You know, there's something in you. And I said to you that God will give you the desires of your heart. He's going to give it to you. He's going to give it to you. So just be ready, because it's coming your way. Thank you.
Amen?
Amen.
Amen.
Finally, 1 John 4:4, you, dear children, are from God and have overcome, because the one who is in you is greater than the one that is in the world. And sisters, we are all overcomers. So, insecurities, be gone.
Yes.
Be gone. Yes. Be gone, be gone, be gone. You guys are awesome. You're awesome. Come back again and talk to me.
Yes.
Especially during this season.
Yes.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you for joining us virtually.
Hi, everybody. It's Stephanie Butler Adams coming to you live from my living room. I just wanted to say thank you for watching Sisters on Sacred Ground. Season 1 is done. Season 2 is going to be crazy good. I can't wait for you to watch it. I am excited about all of our phenomenal guests, but I first want to say thank you to all of our season 1 guests. I want to say thank you to our executive producer, Mr. Adrian Dunn of the BME Experience. I want to say thank you to Mr. Steve Adams of Long Beach Unity, our co-executive producer, and to all of our crew, Artery Media, Lucky Black Media, Muma Fashions, Holy Brows. All of you were so instrumental in making Sistahs on Sacred Grounds a wonderful experience. We want you to keep rolling with us, so we'll see you next season right here, Sistahs on Sacred Grounds, where we use affirmations and music and coffee to create a dialogue where we address real-life issues concerning our sisters. I love you, and I will see you soon. You stay safe. Bye.